there, Harriet. Can I ask you something? Sorry if you're at work. If you're busy, I can wait.
It's okay. I'm free now. What's wrong?
How do people build relationships with their daughter-in-laws? I feel like I don't have a clue what I'm doing.
You mean Alyssa? What do you mean you don't have a clue what you're doing? Did something happen between you guys?
Well, it's not necessarily that something happened. Harriet, tell me something. Do you and Elisa get along well?
Not really. We're friendly enough when we see each other, and we might make small talk, but the conversation never goes beyond the weather or how we've been lately. Saying we get along would be stretching it.
I don't think we're getting along so well either. I want us to be close, I really do. But I don't know how to go about it. I don't even know where to start. She's Benjamin's wife, so I want us to at least have the kind of relationship where we can laugh and joke together.
Does Alyssa actually laugh and joke? It's hard to imagine.
Well, now that you mention it, she doesn't seem much the type. She always seems so dry and expressionless, and her reactions to pretty much everything I ever say are always lukewarm and unenthusiastic. It's so hard to figure out what's going on in her head. I've seen brick walls that show more emotion than her.
Alyssa's always seemed, how to put this, the cool type? To frame it positively, that calm, collected, no hex given vibe. I definitely see how you could interpret it as cold disinterest, though. Most people could never pull it off, but she's so drop-dead gorgeous that her lack of readable facial expressions gives her an air of intensity and mystique. She doesn't strike me as particularly sociable, though.
I'm sparing no effort to try and get closer to her. I'm really trying my best, you know. But no matter what I do, nothing seems to work. Just a few days ago, I invited her out to do some shopping and have lunch with me. But she turned me down in the bluntest way possible. I wonder if she hates me.
Isn't it just because she's pregnant? You know how awful morning sickness can be. Maybe she's just going through a rough patch and doesn't feel up to doing much?
I did consider that, but the way she turned me down was so cold, she may as well have just said, "You're a pain in the ass, get lost." If she feels under the weather, surely she could have just said so and politely declined. I'm her mother-in-law, for crying out loud. She always seems to look at me with these cold, disdainful eyes.
She's like that with everyone, though. I've literally never seen her smile. Don't you think it's more likely she just struggles to pick up on certain things because she's so detached? Some people find social stuff easier than others. I'm sure there's no ill will behind it.
I wonder. I really am trying to get closer to her. But it's like the more I try, the higher she builds that impenetrable wall she insists on closing herself in 24/7. We're family now, and I worry for the future if we can't build some kind of relationship.
I understand how you feel. Who knows? Maybe she'll change when she gives birth to the baby. People do say having kids changes you, right? Take my friend Beth. She's a prime example. She used to be so quick to lose her temper, but after having little Reginald, she has the patience of a saint.
Maybe that happens in rare cases, but you know not everyone's like that. Take you, for example. You're still just as short-tempered and crank as ever.
What the hell, Mom? Rude.
I'm not wrong, though. Fine, point taken. I guess there is a chance she'll brighten up a little bit once she has the baby. I really hope things improve between us.
I heard Alyssa just got discharged from the hospital. Did you see the pictures of her and the baby? He looks so healthy, and she seems to be doing well, too. I'm so pleased.
I know, right? Oh, what a little bundle of joy. I can't wait to meet him. I'm relieved they're both fine.
Sure, what kind of congratulations present to get her, though? Diapers? Dummies? Assorted expendables? I have no idea. Did you get her anything yet?
I did indeed. I wanted to give her something the baby could eat straight away, so I sent over some jelly. I was thinking about getting her some baby clothes as well. but you know how fussy she can be, and I didn't want to get the baby anything she didn't like.
Along with food, I'm still not sure what else to get her, though. She's such an impenetrable fortress of a human being. It's hard to imagine what kind of present she'd actually appreciate.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I'm struggled to decide, too. Oh, she has to be the hardest person to buy for I've ever known. Not only that, but come to think of it, I sent the stuff a while back, but I haven't heard anything from her at all. I seriously racked my brains to come up with something I thought she'd like.
Really?
With it being a celebration gift, I thought it'd be better that she have it earlier rather than late, so I bought it and sent it off ASAP. I haven't heard so much as a word on whether it's arrived, let alone a thank you. You'd think she'd thank me at the very least, wouldn't she?
I'm sure if it arrived, she would have. Maybe there was an issue with the delivery or something. Or maybe she's just had so much on her plate, what with the birth and all that she forgot.
I wonder. What if she's just ignoring me because she hates me?
No way! Why would she hate you? You're overthinking this, Mom. I'm sure there's a simple explanation for this. It probably just didn't arrive yet. Things get delayed all the time due to issues with transit and whatnot.
I don't think I told you about this, but I happened to hear something about Elisa recently. Apparently, she said that she finds presents from strangers scary. What if she thinks of me as a stranger and refused the delivery when my present arrived?
How could anyone possibly think of their own mother-in-law as a stranger?
You hear about cases of wives hating their mother-in-laws all the time. In the soap operas, in the movies, in the news, on talk shows. Hating your mother-in-law is practically an American tradition at this point.
Well, it doesn't look like she hates you to me, not even a little. I get that her attitude and demeanor are cold, but she's like that with everyone. Why take it personally?
But could there really be an issue with the delivery? I used the best delivery company I could find. I even paid extra for first-class shipping to make sure it'd get there in time for the birth. It should have been there the day after I sent it, and I didn't get any kind of notification telling me anything was wrong. It makes no sense that she hasn't messaged me yet.
Yeah, I guess. It is a little strange.
How about you try sending your gifts and see what happens? Let's see whether she thanks you straight away.
Hey, Alyssa, how are you? My mom sent you a present, but wasn't sure if it arrived yet. Did you get it?
Hey, Harriet. The package from your mom, right? It just arrived now. I threw it in the trash immediately.
Huh? Why would you do that?
Apparently, it got sent to the wrong address due to an issue with delivery. It took ages to arrive.
No, I don't mean why it only just arrived. I mean, why did you throw it away? You're joking, right? You threw away Mom's present? She sent that to congratulate you on the birth.
Why would I be joking? Yes, I threw it away. Did your mom put you up to this? Is that why you're messaging me?
Well, she did mention it to me, but she hardly put me up to anything. She said she sent you a present a while back, but hadn't heard anything back from you. She's been really worried that you might have been ignoring her. I just wanted to check, that's all.
Your mom's been giving me all sorts of presents for a while now. It's true that I almost never thank her. I have no intention of thanking her this time either.
What the hell? Why not? Why on earth would you toss a present in the garbage when someone went out of their way to buy it for you? I was sure you'd already gotten it, but were just ignoring her. This is 1,000 times worse than I thought.
Look, Harriet, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't want her presents.
You don't want them? How can you be so heartless?
Well, what would you think if someone kept giving you gifts you never asked for like that? I bet you wouldn't want them either.
Look, I understand that the things she gets you might not always be exactly to your preferred specifications, but Mom's doing her absolute best to pick you things she thinks you'd like. She's really trying to get along with you here. These presents are kind gestures meant to show her affection for you. I'd prefer it if you didn't throw her efforts back in her face like this.
Affection? Please, don't make me laugh. Affection is the last thing your mother feels towards me. I've never heard something so laughably stupid in my life.
How can you say that?
Because your mom sends me nothing but trash.
Trash?
Their presents only in name. All she sends me is spoiled, rotten food. Take the jelly she just sent me. It was crawling with maggots and smelled like a landfill.
Isn't that just because it arrived later than expected? You yourself just said that there was an issue with the delivery. It's only natural foodstuffs would spoil if delivery got delayed.
Do you seriously think jelly would be crawling with maggots after a poxy delay of a few days? Besides, it's jelly. It's supposed to keep at room temperature. In spite of that, it was so rotten it had changed color, and had so many maggots writhing around in it, I could have sold it to an angling society. I shudder to think what would have happened to my insides if I ate it. I wish she'd just leave me alone already. I don't need this.
Are you saying she keeps sending you rotten food? My mom? Every single one of her presents?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. She usually sends me about 1 package per month.
That often? But I can't believe it. Why would she do such a thing? This makes no sense. Why would my mom do this?
If you want proof, I have it. I have a copy of every single invoice from every present she ever sent me.
Haven't you spoken to my brother about this? Surely your mother-in-law sending you garbage disguised as presents is something you'd mention to Benjamin.
I haven't told my husband anything. I can't, Harriet. He's busy enough as it is. I don't want to worry him. As far as he's concerned, me and your mother get along like a house on fire.
But why would my mom do something like that? It makes no sense at all. What does she get out of it?
I think it's obvious why she's doing it. Because she never liked me from the get-go, and because she never approved of me marrying her son. She's had it in for me ever since we met. You guys might not have noticed because she's a good actress, and she knows when to hide her true feelings.
Wow.
Given how much she hates me, I'm sure that in her mind, rotten food is the most appropriate present there could possibly be. To be honest, I don't know what you think of me either, Harriet. But I know with dead certainty, beyond any shadow of a doubt, that your mom hates me with a burning passion. Why do you think I keep my distance from her?
I see. So that's why. Oh my God, Alyssa, I'm so sorry for everything my mom did to you.
Hey, Harriet. So did you decide what you're going to send Elisa to celebrate the birth yet? Food, clothes, toys?
I haven't made up my mind yet.
Well, I decided to resend my present. I thought about what you said, and you're right. There is a chance that there was an issue in transit and didn't make it. I sent the second one yesterday evening, so it should be arriving any time now.
Yes, it arrived just now, actually.
Excuse me? How would you know my present had arrived at Elisa's house?
Because me and Alyssa just opened it together.
You opened it together? What? Why would you do such a thing?
I don't know, Mom. You tell me. Why would you do such a thing? It was packed with rotten fruit. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? Let me guess. You didn't have time to wait for more jelly to rot, so you just used fruit instead? Am I right? The stench when we opened it up. Good God!
Wait a second. Why would you do that? What's going on? Where are you right now? Explain yourself.
I'm at Benjamin and Alyssa's house. I'm with Alyssa right now.
Why? What on earth brought this on? I've never known you to go to their house before. Not only that, but you and Elisa are together? Since when were you two bosom buddies? I didn't think you got along.
Not a single one of the questions you just asked me is relevant to what I asked you. You seem to have forgotten, so allow me to remind you. We were discussing the matter of you sending your daughter-in-law rotting garbage disguised as presents.
No. Just hold on a minute. What the hell's going on here?
Yes, that's what I'm asking you, Mom. You've been sending presents to Alyssa regularly for a long time now, haven't you? She kept all the invoices. There's a nice, neat pile of them here on the living room table in front of us. She kept hold of them as proof of what you were doing. The contents of your presents are never anything but rotten garbage.
Garbage? How dare you call my presents garbage? No, there has to be some kind of mistake here. Why on earth would I send my daughter-in-law rotting garbage? Come on, Harriet. What kind of person do you take me for?
Then what exactly is this stinking, maggot-infested pile of decaying mush before my eyes? It literally couldn't be any more rotten. Not a single piece of this fruit is still edible. What's your end game? Did you intend for her to eat this stuff? Were you trying to make her physically sick, or did you just want to upset her?
Why would my fruit be spoiled? It looked fine when I sent it. The firmest, shiniest apples, the plumpest, juiciest oranges, the most delightfully sweet grapes you could ever hope to eat. I never meant to send anything rotten, I promise. Ah, I know. It must have gotten bad in transit. You know it has been unreasonably hot lately. All it would take is for one careless delivery driver to leave it out in the sun for a little too long.
You only sent it yesterday, Mom. The most negligent delivery guy in the world couldn't make a box of fresh fruit go rotten in the space of a day. And what do you mean, unseasonably hot? It's winter, for God's sake. This stuff was obviously already rotten when you put it in the box.
No, you're wrong. I wouldn't do that. The delivery company must have made some kind of mistake. I don't know anything about this, and that's God's honest truth.
You can drop the act now, Mom. I know everything.
You know? What exactly do you know, sweetie?
I know about how you've been subjecting Alyssa to a vicious bullying campaign ever since she and Benjamin got married. She never hated you. You were the one who hated her all along. And you're such a sick, twisted liar that you actually tried to convince me it was the other way around. And I was starting to believe you. Ugh! It's over, Mom. I know. If there's a shred of decency in there somewhere, you'll just admit it.
Well, can you blame me? That girl is poison.
Can I take this as an admission that you hate her?
Yes, I do. I hate her. I hate her more than anything else on this planet.
Why? It was just the other day you were telling me how much you wished you two could get along. What happened to that?
Oh, please, Harriet. Are you that gullible? I was obviously lying. I just wish she'd hurry up and disappear from the face of the earth. She'd be doing all of us a favor.
Why do you hate her so much? What did she ever do to deserve this?
She's so arrogant, she practically lives up to her own backside. I've never known someone with such an excessively high opinion of themselves. She thinks the fact that she happens to be good-looking gives her the license to trot around on her high horse with that godforsaken supercilious pout on her face. That stuck-up bimbo, ugh! Her standoffish attitude rubs me the wrong way, and it has done ever since I laid eyes on the girl.
That's what you think of her?
Oh, to think a woman like that is now the mother of my grandson. She's beyond brazen. That boy Benjamin needs to get his head checked out if that's his idea of a suitable mother. I mean, please, what's wrong with him? Why would he marry someone so cold and unfriendly? I can't believe it.
I had no idea you hated her this much. I can't believe you either, Mom.
What do you mean? She's the one in the wrong here. If she'd just act like a normal human being, none of this would have ever happened. I simply cannot tolerate that gloomy, depressing personality of hers. A fake smile would do every now and then, you know. But no, she's so far above everyone else that she can't even bring herself to do that.
What's wrong with that? She's just shy. That doesn't make her a criminal, nor does it mean she thinks she's better than anyone else. Like I said, some people find social stuff easier than others. She's not gloomy or depressing either. She's lovely and she's kind.
She is gloomy! She's not a suitable wife for my son. I've hated her ever since the day we met. If he even had a single brain cell, he'd file for divorce right now.
Hi, Nancy. Do you really hate me that much?
Excuse me?
It's me, Alyssa. It's been a while.
Well. If it isn't my dimwit son's worthless failure of a wife. You've really gone and done it this time, haven't you? What kind of disgusting lies have you been filling my daughter's head with? You will pay for this, mark my words.
You've never acknowledged me as your daughter-in-law. You don't think of me as family at all, do you?
Of course I don't. Why would I acknowledge a lying witch like you as family?
Right, that's what I thought. That's why I've thought of you as nothing but a stranger this whole time. In-law or not, I have no intention of acknowledging someone who treats me the way you do as my mother. I'd have to be crazy to accept any kind of present from the likes of you, and that's why I started sending them away unopened.
The likes of me? Oh, how dare you! Whether you acknowledge me as your family or not makes no difference to me, you miserable little cretin!
Harriet said the same thing.
My daughter? Don't be so ridiculous. What are you even saying?
It's just like Alyssa says, Mom. As far as me and Benjamin are concerned, you're nothing but a stranger to us now, and neither of us want anything to do with you ever again. Even just knowing we're related makes me shudder with embarrassment.
What? You and Benjamin... What?
You've been trying to make Alyssa eat rotten food for months and months now. You're sick in the head, and you need help. Who in their right mind would do that? This is not normal behavior. What were you even trying to accomplish? You've been sending these presents of yours for over 6 months now. I can't believe you try to make a pregnant woman eat things you know for a fact would pose a threat to her and her baby, your grandchild's health. What would you have done if something happened to her?
Oh, what's all the fuss about? No harm was done. All's well that ends well. Nothing happened, so there's no problem here. Why must you insist on making a mountain out of a molehill?
The only reason nothing happened is because Alyssa was attentive enough to notice. If she'd eaten any of that without realizing, who knows what could have happened? She could have ended up in the hospital with food poisoning, or worse. Not just Alyssa, but the baby, too.
I couldn't give a damn about what happens to that girl. How could I possibly love anything that she gave birth to? The kid can go to the hospital with her for all I care. Do you understand how much I hate her now? Is it going in yet?
It's going in, Mom. I completely understand. I understand that there's nothing to be gained by continuing this conversation. Just as I said before, you and me are strangers now. You'll never see me at the house or hear from me again.
Please, darling, just wait. Why so hasty? We can talk about this, can't we? Surely you wouldn't go to such drastic lengths over something so trivial.
The fact that you're capable of describing what you did to Alyssa as trivial only strengthens my resolve to cut you out of my life forever. What you did is no different than physical abuse. I suggest you put your phone down, go and sit on your own, and think long and hard about the life path you've chosen. Once more, we're strangers now, and me or Benjamin don't ever want to hear from you again.
You're going to abandon your aged mother? You wouldn't. How can you call me a stranger? You're my baby, Harriet. We could never be strangers. We're family, darling. How could you treat me so horribly?
What you did to your son's wife was a damn sight more horrible than anything we're doing. Just because you hate someone doesn't give you the right to try and poison them. Why did you have to go and act like a complete psychopath? If you don't like someone, all you have to do is keep your distance. Just like me and Benjamin are about to do with you. After that, I didn't contact my mom at all for a while. I also told Alyssa she never had to have anything to do with her again, as well as reported the entire thing to Benjamin. I also told him never to let his guard down in the event that our mom attempted to exact any kind of revenge in the future, and to protect his wife at all costs. Benjamin had no idea what had been going on these past 6 months. His world was flipped upside down in an instant, and he was rendered speechless in sheer astonishment. To protect his wife and son from his deranged mother, he put as much distance between them and any other shared ties they had as he possibly could. Me and my brother were in total agreement that we'd probably never forgive our mom for what she did. I don't think our mom took word of her children severing all ties with her well, and she showed up at both Benjamin and Alyssa's, as well as my house, crying hysterically and begging for forgiveness. But things were still too raw, and there was no way either of us were willing to even consider the idea of reconciliation so soon after what she did. Whether we do eventually allow her back into our lives one day remains to be seen. If we do, we'll discuss it as brother and sister and proceed very, very carefully.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Emily, your dad ended up working in construction for a while and still has connections to it, right? I remember hearing that from him while at your wedding and wanted to confirm that it was him. Yeah, you are right about that. Sandra, why do you ask about him all of a sudden? Do you need him to do something for you? No, I was just asking is all. But actually, I have to move out of the house I'm living in right now. And since this has come out of nowhere, I'm in a bit of a pinch. That's really tough, actually. Was there a reason for all of this having to happen to you? Well, apparently the landlord's kid is coming back here. And he's asked me to leave my place so that he has a place to give to his kid. Of course, he's going to be paying me to leave the place, but I haven't been able to find a place to move into yet. It's all happened so fast, and I kind of feel like it's a bit unfair of him to do that to my husband and I. I get what's going on now. That does seem pretty unfair of him to do that, but I remember hearing that you and your husband have been late on some payments, so maybe he's just had enough and needed a reason to get you out. Sorry for suggesting that. But anyway, why did you want to ask about my dad? I don't think he'll be able to help you out much in your current situation. Well, since he's worked in house construction and knows it all very well, I was wondering if he knew of any new places that I could buy. I've been looking around where my husband works, but I haven't been able to find anything good. So if it's okay with your dad, I'd love for him to show me some places. But he just worked in building houses and most of the time was in the office anyway, so he never went to any of the job sites. And most of those houses that get built are by people paying them to build, so it's not like he's been building them to then be sold. You'd have to talk to a realtor about things like that. So I don't think he's going to know of any places for you to go. What? Are you sure? He doesn't have any friends working in the realtor business or anything like that that he could refer me to? That's a completely different line of work there. But I can at least give him a shout and see what he says. He might know some realtor groups that he's worked with in the past that you could go talk to. Well, if you don't think he knows anyone, then we'd better not bother him. But right now, I am really in a pinch. I don't even want to have to leave the place I'm at right now or this area. It can be pretty hard finding places to live in areas as expensive as that of where your husband works. And even if it was cheaper there, it's a competitive spot, so people would be buying a lot quicker than you most of the time. Maybe it's better to look for an apartment in the area again and then wait a bit for the market to settle down. I'd love to do that, but I'm not wanting to stay in an apartment again after this. Man, searching for housing is so tough. I'm sure it's been tough for you too, right? So you have to understand how I'm feeling right now. What was tough for me exactly? Looking for a house. Because you're in a wheelchair, right? You have to find a house that's accessible for you and a part of town that allows you to get around. That had to have been hard, right? You make a good point. There aren't a lot of apartment buildings with elevators either unless they were built in the last 20 years. And I want to get out of my place by myself sometimes. So when I was looking, I became pretty frustrated by how very little accessible housing there was. Right? Well, even though that was tough, I don't have to worry about it much anymore. Why not? You're not going to be living there for the rest of your life, right? Well, my husband and I have had a house built for us. And we made sure that it's really open and very accessible for me, as well as that it's in a place we want to live forever. So I'm living here with no problems whatsoever and hope to for however long I'm around. Huh? Hold on a second. What the heck? I never heard anything about you guys having a house built. Well, we have been pretty busy back then, and the whole move into it and everything. And the construction of it took a lot of time out of our day as well. Even now, I'm still doing some things in the house to decorate it, so I'm not quite at the point of telling everyone where I'm at yet. I'm sorry for not telling you sooner. I guess I should have since your family. Huh? So your husband must really be bringing in the money for you guys. I'm pretty jealous that you get to be with someone like my little brother. Well, he's been doing a really good job taking care of me. Even to the point that I feel I'm not doing nearly enough for him. And you are right to feel that way. You are in a wheelchair and probably don't make a penny for you guys, nor can you please him the same way other women can. And I bet you don't even get any of the chores done there. Actually, I'm doing all the chores still. Do you really think there are chores that you can do while trapped in that wheelchair? I bet all you do is ride around with a broom and push things around, right? So calling that doing all the chores is a bit much. Are you trying to make fun of someone that's putting in a lot of work as a real housewife? I see. I'm sorry for making it sound that way. You don't have to bother with apologizing to me. I can see that that's the way you get a house built for you then. You have to be very thankful for him and all the money he had to sacrifice for that. You are right. Oh, well, if you happen to run across any houses that look good and near my husband's work, let me know, okay? I have to find something by the middle of next month or we'll be doomed. See ya! Sandra, excuse me. I've noticed that some things for you have arrived at our house, but did you mean to send these here? Ah, yes, I did. I'm sorry for not mentioning that to you earlier. I was forced to move out of my place and have to come to you. So you're moving in with us? I heard about this from my dad. He told me that he's going to be living with you both there. And that's the reason you had that house built as well? I know I just asked this, but I need to ask again. Are you actually thinking of moving in with us? Well, of course I am. Why else would I be sending a lot of my things over to your house? Does your mom know that all of this is happening? Right now, everyone is out of the house, and so I can't ask them what they know, but I'd really like that you ask them first before sending things to the house like you're allowed to be here already. Well, they won't know anything because I haven't told them yet. Do they have to know that I'm coming for me to move in there? You're asking me that question? Coming into our house this quickly isn't a simple thing. What are we going to do about all of these things you've sent here? Right now, I can barely get around the front of the house with all these boxes in my way. Sorry for the clutter. And you shouldn't have to be thinking that, right? I'm going to be there tomorrow to take care of all those things, so don't feel as though they'll be sitting around for days. So can you do me a favor and move all the packages into an open room? Thank you. No, this is not the time to be saying thank you. I have to check with your mom and my husband about this first. And I'm not going to decide on all of this myself without getting their feedback, because this is their house too. Oh, come on. What are you talking about? That house that you have right now is built on the land that my parents own, right? We did have this house built on their land with the intent that we have them come live with us. But does that have anything to do with you forcing your way into this house? You know it has everything to do with it. That land is my parents' land. And so that means that place is the new family house. And if it's the new family house and I'm family, then I can move there whenever I please. Well, I guess one could say that. But what you're doing and what you're saying are two different things. First, let me go and talk with everyone else about this, and then we can make a solid decision. What do you mean? What I'm saying is different. Why do you have to check with everyone first before letting me move into my family's house? Do you really think they're going to say no to what I'm doing? Because this house is no longer just your parents' place anymore, but mine and my husband's as well. My husband and I were the ones that paid for this whole house to be built. And yet you're trying to move into here without letting anyone know? No matter what the situation is, you have to talk about what you're allowed to do before making a move. My gosh, this is the reason why? Let me tell you something. I think that me living there with my parents would be a lot more beneficial to them than having you there. What is that supposed to mean, Sandra? You know what I'm implying, right? Someone that's disabled and bound to a wheelchair is not able to get as much housework done as a normal person, right? Do you think I'm going to leave my parents in your hands? I told you this before, but I am still able to do all the chores in my state. I can even get a lot of cooking done, and so there's no need to worry here about living with me. If there was, then none of this would have happened in the first place. But even still, that's less than what a normal person can do, right? Or maybe this is something else. Are you having my parents take care of you because you're pretty much useless? That right there is pretty screwed up, considering that they are both getting old. That is not what's happening here. You can say whatever you want, right? I know in reality you are putting my parents through a lot of trouble there. You're the cause of all their problems now, and that's why you won't own up to it. You're afraid they might have to kick you out of there. Even if that's what you think is going on here, you are still not allowed to just barge into this house and say that you'll be living here without everyone in this house's answer first. Please just wait for me to talk to your mom and my husband about this first. You really are a pain in the butt, Emily. And that's why I'm having to get into that place now. Now that you understand, can you move my things to an open room? I'll be coming over tomorrow, and there is nothing you can do to stop me. Sandra, when are you going to be coming home? I have lunch and everything made up for you now. Oh, I'm sorry, Emily. I don't think I'll be needing lunch today after all. What? Again with this? You asked me to make you something yesterday as well and never came to eat it. Well, I'm going out with friends now for lunch. I couldn't say no to them, right? Well, if you knew that ahead of time, you should have told me. It's a pain for me to have to make food that won't be eaten. That's because you're in a wheelchair, right? But listen, this is great. After that whole conversation we had weeks ago, we are still able to live in that house together. So all that crap from you before meant nothing, right? There is still a limit to us all living together. You are only going to be with us until you find a new home, right? Did my parents agree to something like that? But Emily, that house you have is so relaxing to live in. To the point that I'd love to live in it with you all forever. The only reason we are allowing you to live here is because of what happened between you and the landlord, and you'll only be here until you have a new place to go. You need to start searching for a place more seriously now, or we'll all have a problem. Don't say that to me. That's right. How about you and your husband get out of here? Then there would be no problems with me staying here with my parents, right? Why do you think something like that could ever happen? I told you this already, but this house was planned out and paid for by my husband and I. So we are not leaving. Why not? We are not just going to give the house we had built for us away. And in the near future, we are planning on buying the land off your mom so that it can all be under our name. So you're asking the impossible from us right now. Right. I'm going to change the conversation a little now. What do you want now? Are you finished with all of today's chores yet? I asked you to get it all done before I left, right? I finished everything already. But you weren't there to help me out with any of it, so it was a real pain as well. Oh, is that so? Then let me add some more things for you. Can you go out and wash my car? What? No way! I may be able to handle things inside the home, but you know that I can't clean a car all on my own. I am your sister-in-law, so you go and do what I've asked of you. I'm not going to let you slack off just because you're in a wheelchair. Sandra, ever since you barged into my house, you've been asking me things like this a lot. Asking me to do things that I just cannot do. What are you wanting to do to me? Nothing. I'm simply asking you to do some favors for me is all. Well, if you don't like helping me out from time to time, then leave the house. If you do that, then you'll never have to be bothered by me asking for help ever again. Understood. I'll wash your car. What? Can you actually do it? You told me a second ago that you can't do it, right? Well, if I don't do it, you're just going to keep complaining, right? So I'll do anything that I have to get you to shut up. Is that so? Well, good luck then. I've only been asking you to do small things for me, so there's no need for you to get up in arms about it. If you have a real problem with me, then you can leave whenever you want. Emily, where are you right now? What's happened with all the chores you're supposed to do today? Don't tell me you plan to slack off today. Right now, we've taken her to get a medical exam done. Oh, she did say something about that kind of thing. Well, besides that, did you hear the news? Last night, my parents were having a talk. My mom was saying that she can no longer take having you in the house with us. Something like that was never said last night. You never were around to hear any of that, so what are you talking about? She said all of that. She even said that she's pissed that you keep acting like a parasite leeching off of everyone here. A parasite, huh? Oh, maybe something like that was said. Huh? What are you going on about right now? You really are messed up more in the head than both your legs are. Well, that doesn't matter now, as long as you understand what all this means. A parasite like you needs to leave this house now. That's what's best for everyone here. I'm surprised you could say something so audacious. I was talking about having my daughter, you, leave the house. Huh? I'm not your frickin' daughter. You really do have a screwed up head on you, just like those mangled legs. The only one that's screwed up right now is you. Saying such horrible things to my cute daughter-in-law. And not just that, but ever since you came into the house without asking, you have done nothing but sit around and take advantage of us. When the hell are you going to find that new house? What is wrong with you? Are you trying to act like Mom? You're talking to me right now through text, so that's not going to work. You wish this was her trying to act like me. But right now you are talking to your mother, and you've made her very, very upset. I do not want to see my daughter talking to someone else in the family like you have today. Is this really you, Mom? Stop joking, Emily. This isn't a joke. If you're not going to believe me, then do you want me to tell you how long you had been wetting the bed for? Or maybe I can tell you the story of how you'd gotten cheated on in high school. Stop that right now! Why are you using Emily's phone? What happened to her? I told you we're at the hospital right now so that she can get her exam done. Forgot that already? Huh? You said that? You must have just asked where she was to have a reason to start a conversation with her again then. Now let me ask you this. When did I ever say that I was getting fed up with Emily living in this house with us and wanted her to leave? You were talking with Dad about it last night. You said that the parasite living here is being a pain in the butt. And I knew that you were talking about the problems you have with Emily, right? Oh, you're talking about that. Well, you're mistaken. That parasite I was talking about was in reference to you. Huh? You're lying, right? Not at all. You said you had no place to go, and that's why you forced Emily to let you live here. But this whole time you've been here, you haven't done poop. Haven't done poop? I've gone to the realtor once. And that was one time. I know that since then you haven't been doing a thing to find yourself a house. And just when I thought I was having enough of you, you started to tell Emily to get out of this house. What is that all about? Who the hell do you think you are to be telling her all of that? I don't see you giving anything to be allowed in this house still. You are an embarrassment, Sandra. No, but wait, have you even thought enough about the reality of the situation right now? When you and Dad need to be taken care of in your old age, do you really think Emily can do it in her wheelchair? And if that becomes a problem, your father and I will go into a home. Why should the person who paid for the house to be built have to leave their house? You're the one that needs to be tossed out. But this land is the family's, right? And I'm planning to let Emily buy it from me. I want to use the money she pays us as part of our retirement. Understand? She is being very kind, saying that she's willing to pay for this land. That's what she should be doing. I was originally going to let her have it, but she continued to offer that she pay. I'd rather have a daughter like her than one that complains all day and asks the owner of the house she's allowed to live in to leave. And not only all of those other piss-poor reasons, but also because you've been messing with her for being in a wheelchair. Then are you saying that it's better we all have to leave that house instead of her? I am, Sandra. I am. Let me be transparent with you now. The way that you have been treating Emily is absolutely unacceptable. If you're not going to change everything about yourself right now, then get out of her house. Shut up for a second, Mom. I don't have anywhere to go right now, so you can't seriously be asking me to leave. The owners of this house are Emily and my son. So if you knew living here for the time being was your only way of staying off the streets, then why have you been making fun of the owner? If you don't want to leave this house, then change that attitude of yours right now. If you don't, you won't have a place to live starting tomorrow. The four of us living here are happy for a nasty witch like you to be tossed out whenever. After that, I came back home from the hospital to a very furious sister-in-law standing at the door. She was so furious, in fact, that it was almost like she had forgotten everything her mom had said to her. And right in front of her own mom, she began to cuss me out and even rock me around in my wheelchair. But after seeing that her daughter's attitude had only gotten far worse, Bev became the new monster in the house and slapped Sandra across the face so hard that it went dead silent. And then she dragged her out the front door into the lawn and left her there to come back in with me and lock all the doors. Sandra began to scream and cry, asking to be let in while banging on the door, but we moved upstairs to her room and began going through all her things. And right then and there, Bev called Sandra's husband and told him that they were not welcomed there anymore. Before taking all of Sandra's things and throwing them out the second-story window, including all the fragile things that broke on impact. Luckily, her husband had emergency savings in his account, so he was able to find a new apartment for them to live in. But both Sandra's parents had cut ties with her by now, and so we'll never be seeing her again. I know that me being in a wheelchair limits me from doing a lot of things, but when it comes to most housework, I'm able to do them, as long as there isn't someone constantly trying to put me down. But because Sandra tried to take advantage of me and my disability, she had to feel the full wrath of her mom and lose almost everything she had. I'm not really sure what's been going on in her life now after such an eye-opening experience, but I've heard rumors that her husband is thinking about getting a divorce because of how useless she's become. I'll make sure from now on to continue to do my best to do everything I can for the family, as they've done a lot for me. And while I'm at it, I'll avoid ever making Bev upset, because that last moment between her and Sandra was very scary.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.